Why, like, looking at your history of work, you're both as a producer, exec producer, and a director, you're incredibly prolific, but you're not a man that usually goes back onto old ground.
No.
So what was it about the Alien kind of universe that's made you, instilled this passion in you to create several more movies?
Frustration. I felt it shouldn't be dead and it should be running. Star Wars is still running. I mean, the Alien franchise should be into War of the Worlds now. That's where I'm going.
Is that the plan? Because
Bloody right.
Oh my God!
Alien Covenant's been out for a few weeks now, so I think it's officially that safe zone to talk about why this movie is actually one of the worst things I have seen in a very long time. For once, I actually have the same exact opinion as everyone else when it comes to the Alien franchise. These two are classics, these two are ass, this one is severely underappreciated, and I feel like I blacked out while watching these two when I was a kid. But I am a massive fan of the first two films, especially Ridley Scott's Alien. It's been one of my all-time favorites since I saw it back in the day. And I also kind of loved a lot of the concepts that were explored in Prometheus, so when Ridley came out and said, hey, that Neil Blomkamp movie that is going to technically be Alien 5, but in reality it was going to be like the real Alien 3, tying up Ridley's story, yeah, we're pushing that one on hold for now. And at the time I was kind of okay with it. I'm only pissed about it now just because it probably would have been so much better than Covenant. And looking back on it, the only real reason it was shut down was because it was right after the release of Chappie, which, let's be honest here, I don't remember a single thing about Chappie other than the awful soundtrack.
You gon' get me like a Rico, know the little kitty go meow. Yes, daddy.
But I didn't mind it because Scott was like, hey, I want to make that movie that kind of connects Prometheus to Alien officially. And I was like, sweet, because I like both of those things. But man, I was fucking mollywopped by this movie so fast, it was ridiculous. Now, I know this movie is quote-unquote polarizing, just like Prometheus, but the thing is, Prometheus was only polarizing because people were pissed it wasn't an Alien movie. And just like Prometheus, people have been calling Covenant polarizing, which I don't really understand because how someone in their right mind can call this a good movie is completely baffling to me. I would say let's talk positives, but I literally hated everything. Like, this is one of those rare movies where literally every single detail just pissed me off more than the last one. Oh, and spoilers in case you were planning on getting robbed by 20th Century Fox sometime soon. There are just so many things this movie gets wrong, so let's just fucking get into it. Covenant tries to be everything, but fails epically at doing anything. It claims to be a horror film, like Alien, but then it also wants to be the sci-fi philosophy film, like Prometheus, but then it also wants to be the action movie, like James Cameron's Aliens. None of it really meshed well. Like, I thought, if anything, the first half hour was the least bad out of everything, just because it kind of had the suspense that the original Alien had, where you know bad things were going to happen, and it was the buildup of that, and it kind of felt somewhat interesting, like there was like an interesting base there that they could have taken advantage of, but it just all goes to shit right when they get on the planet and people start doing stupid fucking things. Like, I thought the whole Prometheus characters were stupid argument was really bullshit, just because if you observed the jobs of the characters, what they were doing with the little snake things actually kind of made sense coming from that specific character's perspective. So whenever I heard the argument, oh, the characters in Prometheus just piss me off because they're dumb, I never really bought into it. I actually kind of defended that. But in Alien Covenant, they just do stupid things. Like, I really can't find an explanation as to why none of these people would wear a suit on the planet. It just makes no sense in a fucking science fiction movie. And you might argue that's a nitpick, but that's not even the biggest problem I have with the characters. The biggest problem I have with the characters is they're all just really plot devices or like horror cliches instead of being characters. Like when you have a character say, oh, I'm gonna go take a piss, even though when he goes to take a piss, he doesn't even take a piss, he just smokes a fucking cigarette. And you know the second he says it, it's like, oh, something bad's gonna happen to him, and oh, he stepped on the little ball and the little goo's going in his little ear and he's gonna be a fucking alien or something like that. And then you have another character where this is at the point where like half the crew's dead, roughly, and she's like, oh, I'm gonna go be by myself or go pee. Did they have two characters pee? I could be wrong on that, but yeah, that was bad too. Then you have this girl who's trying to be Ripley, and she wasn't even like a 16th of cool as Ripley. Everyone's praising Danny McBride because he didn't do a funny role for once, but he wasn't good in this movie. He really, like, he had nothing to do other than, oh, I'm Danny McBride and I'm being serious this time. Michael Fassbender is being praised for his double role, and I'll say right off the bat, the Walter robot, that accent was pretty bad, so that's half the acting right there, in my opinion, is bad. And then the David character he played in the most, like, simple, like, basic way you could play a bad robot. But I think the thing that actually seriously pissed me off the most in the movie, actually, that might be a lie because a lot of things pissed me off, but one thing in specific was the special effects. The special effects in this movie were, I think, the best way to describe my reaction when I first saw the first Alien was striking. I could not believe this was what the visual effects team was giving us. And it's not entirely their fault, because the scenes these aliens are put in are so well lit and so bright and so not dark that every alien creature looks so fucking shitty. It's unbelievable. Like, I think the point where I said, alright, I'm done with the movie, was right after there's a kind of cool sequence where you see it in the trailer where the one dude is having the backburster alien come out, and you think it's gonna be like a xenomorph or something, and it ends up being this little CGI fuck. And the little CGI fuck looks so not real, like so not there, that you completely get pulled out immediately. And then when they get bigger and they start fighting people, like, it all looks so fake. Like, I didn't buy any of it for a single second throughout the entire, however long this torture was. This shit really is like the Phantom Menace of the Alien movies. Like, Prometheus to me still, even though it's not really quote-unquote an alien movie, it still felt like it was in the same world. It still had the same vibes. It still made me feel the same sense of wow that Alien did. It doesn't feel like it's the same guy that made Alien, which I'm gonna get into. Ridley Scott is a piece of shit, and he really needs to stop making films at this point. I still can't put together that the same dude directed this film and the original from 1979, just because it just lacks the morals that were in the first movie. Just the entire concept of, oh, let's hide the xenomorph more than showing it. I know that is obviously due to the limitations of special effects from the 70s, but still, you would think that that would imply, oh, if it worked for my first movie, let's just implement that into the modern world. But no, he has to go off and ruin the xenomorph by making the worst decisions I've ever seen a director make in my entire life. The xenomorph in this movie is, to put lightly, is a fucking joke. It's unbelievable that Ridley Scott thought this was going to be a great idea to put the fucking alien in broad daylight, ruining the entire Stalker-esque aspect that makes the alien. Like, having it run around like a fucking monkey the entire time, it's not scary. It's not scary. It's fucking dumb. It's so dumb. Like, having Michael Fassbender make it look like a fucking puppet and then having him try to talk to it ruins the character. It ruins the monster. It ruins, not necessarily makes the original movie worse, but it does take away some of the mystery and some of the, oh wow, how do we stop this thing? The second you introduce a concept of, like, talking to it in any type of movie, always makes it feel cheesier and dumber and just worse. And since we're on the topic, can we just say that Ridley Scott basically just said fuck you to Prometheus and fuck you to Alien? The biggest fuck you in the movie is to fans of Prometheus, because Ridley Scott just literally kills Prometheus in a 1.5 minute sequence. Michael Fassbender being the creator of the Alien is just so frustrating, because now it's canon, okay? You can't change that. You cannot change that. The original script, it was like, oh, the engineers created the alien, which would make sense and would be less frustrating, and then Michael Fassbender kind of just took the design and kind of made his own thing. But Ridley Scott, the director, decided to go with his own interpretation, which makes no fucking sense and has no correlation to Prometheus or Alien. It basically says, nope, it was Michael Fassbender's idea. It's all him. He is literally fucking Jesus in this movie. Like, I'm interested in the third movie, because if I see the alien bowing down, just hundreds of aliens just bowing down to Michael Fassbender, I'm gonna have a field day. And then you have the funniest attempt at a plot twist I think I've ever seen. Like, if you were sitting there at the end of the movie and you're like, what? That was David? You're a fucking moron. Alright, maybe that was a little bit harsh, but come on, man. Come on. I've seen 10 films this year, and Covenant was by far the worst one so far. And apparently Alien Awakening is the next film that is going to be directed by Ridley Scott. So we'll see how that goes. I'm very curious to see if it could actually be worse. So that's all I got for you today. I'm gonna be making a video every single Sunday. That's not to say Sunday is gonna be the only day you get videos. I'm gonna try my best to make more than one a week, but just know every Sunday you will most likely see one. I'm also going to try and get my Chilling with Chase podcast up every single Tuesday, or at least every Tuesday I can. So be on the lookout for that, I guess. And yeah, thanks for sticking around. If you're new, click the subscribe button, and yeah, fuck you, Ridley Scott.